Hello, my name is Chris and I'm a U-Haul hitch professional. Putting a gooseneck hitch in your Chevy Silverado can lead to some amazing adventures in camping and heavy-duty towing. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how we do this install. You will need the following tools and supplies to complete this installation. Let's begin by lowering our spare tire to make room for the installation. Remove your spare tire lock with the key. Now use the vehicle's supplied jack equipment to lower the spare tire. We can now alter or remove our heat shield. For a 2015 and older, you will follow the instructions to alter. Our customer has the 2016 or newer. Use a 13mm wrench or ratcheting wrench to remove the fasteners. 2 fasteners will be underneath inside of the cross members. 2 will be accessed from above the passenger side rear tire. You can now remove the heat shield. It will not be reinstalled. The hitch will take its place. We are now ready to place our rear cross arms. But before we do that, we're going to clean the threaded nuts to make sure they're free of powder coating and debris using a 1/2 inch by 13 thread cleaner. You need to clean all 6 threads and make sure your thread cleaner passes completely through. We're now ready to place the rear cross arm across the frame of the truck. Now that we have cleaned the threads, we need to make sure that they are positioned offset downward so that when we roll this cross member, the threads are in the correct position. Now let's go ahead and slide it across. You may want a second set of hands under the vehicle to help you get it on the opposite frame. In order to get our front cross arm into position, we need to bend up on this tab on both sides of the vehicle. We're now ready to insert the front cross arm for the hitch. Do note that the plate side with the holes will be facing the rear of the vehicle and the hitch, and this flat side will be facing up. The directions call out for bending the metal flange. We find it easier to go ahead and just cut a knot so the front cross arm will fit. Before you make your cut, remove this electrical wire so that it does not get damaged. Use an air saw or any other powered cutting device to do this. You can now insert the front cross member through the notch and slide it forward. In order to roll the cross members into place, you may need to use a crescent wrench to help with leverage. We now need to prepare our center section. We're going to insert 2 of our 1/2 inch by 13 carriage bolts and keep them in place with a push retainer for when we lift this into position. With the push retainers, be sure the flanges are facing outward so when we push it on, it stays on. Use one of the provided carriage spacers to help. Push on the retainer with the spacer while spinning to get it into place. We're now ready to raise the center section into place. You are going to want to grab a second set of hands for this. It is very heavy. And we also want to remember to place our center locator into the hitch. This is how we find our hole to drill out next. You can now raise your center section into place with the whole of the gooseneck offset to the rear of the vehicle, so the previously placed bolts will face forward through the forward cross arm. Once placed, thread both flange nuts to hand tight so it will hold the hitch so you can proceed forward. We are now ready to place our other 2 1/2 inch carriage bolts through the center section and front cross arm. For the passenger side bolt, we will go the same direction. The final 1/2 inch carriage bolt will go above the gas tank, but it will require 1 custom spacer. We will insert the bolt opposite from the other bolts from the forward, rearward, above the gas tank for clearance. You can now slide the rear cross member into place, align the holes, and install with 4 1/2 inch by 13 hex head bolts and a conical tooth washer with the teeth facing the plate. The hex head bolts will pass through the center section into the rear cross arm. You may need to lift up on the center section to align the bolts. You can now install your side plates. On our 2016 or newer model, we will install 2 16mm bolts with a lock washer and a flat washer into the provided weld nuts in the frame. Now repeat for the opposite side plate. We're now ready to bolt the side plate back to the cross arm. There's two different styles of hardware. The same 1/2 inch by 13 hex head bolt and conical tooth washer will go through the plate into the rear cross arm. The second set of hardware will go through the side plate into the forward cross arm. It's a 5/8 carriage bolt and custom spacer, and then affixed with a 5/8 flange nut. Now repeat for the opposite side plate. We are now ready to torque the hardware to the manufacturer's specifications. There is a specific order to follow. We will start with our 5/8 bolts in the side plate, and we will use a 15/16 socket.
Repeat on the passenger side.
We can now torque our 1/2 inch hardware from the center section into our front and rear cross arms. You can now torque your final bolts, which are the side plates, to the cross arms. Start with the threaded bolts with a 3/4 socket and perhaps a swiveled elbow. Then torque down the larger carriage bolt with a 15/16 socket. Now repeat for the driver's side. You can apply your weight rating sticker to the driver's side underneath where the handle will be installed. We are now ready to drill the pilot hole for the gooseneck ball. If you have previously installed the template as you should, you can now drill it out with a 3/16 drill bit. We can now locate the pilot hole that we've drilled out in the bed and drill out with our 4-inch hole saw. Note that we're going to start with the drill in reverse to leave a divot and then put it in forward so the cut will not jump. When drilling through with the hole saw, be sure not to punch through the plastic insert. We need to be able to remove that in one piece.
Use a metal file to clean up any sharp edges. Install your chrome ring with the provided hardware using a 1/8 Allen wrench. Drill out your safety chain hook holes using a 5/8 drill bit from underneath.
After you have drilled your 4 holes, you will take your 2 U-bolts, pass them from the truck bed down. You will apply conical springs.
Install a flat washer, conical spring, a second flat washer, and a nut onto the threaded end of each U-bolt. Repeat for the remaining lock nuts.
With a 15/16 socket. Tighten the nut until it is flush with the bolt.
Insert the cast lock pin with the hole up to align the handle.
We're now ready to insert the locking handle. After we pass the handle through the side plate, we will then put on a washer and a compression spring from underneath.
Now insert the handle into the hole in the cast lock pin and affix with the provided number 10 bolt and lock nut. Tighten down using one 8mm tool and one 7mm tool.
Pull outward on the handle, rotate forward to lock.
And now you can switch the toe ball from the use to the stored position. Cover up the stored ball with the provided rubber cover.
Rotate in and click the lock. Raise your spare tire back into place. Reinstall your spare tire lock with the key. That concludes a gooseneck hitch on your Chevy Silverado. Thank you for watching. Please remember to practice safe trailering, and we can't wait to see you out there. If you have any questions about the products seen in this video, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with your local U-Haul hitch professional, please visit us online at uhaulhitches.com.